Trump has ordered a review of national monuments in order to see whether or not it makes sense to allow development and drilling on these lands. Now, this would be a nightmare, and it's very clear that Trump has absolutely no regard for environmentalists or environmental concerns. And so he did sign an executive order to allow national monument designations to be rescinded or reduce the size of sites as the administration pushes to open up more federal land to drilling, mining, and other development. He said, today we're putting the states back in charge, adding that they should decide which land is protected and which is open for development. Now, this is relevant, especially when you consider the fact that in Utah, the governor of Utah specifically was annoyed with President Obama after he had created national monuments in his state. He wanted to use that land for drilling and whatever. And so we'll see how this goes because it's untested, it's unprecedented, right? And so it's likely that there will be challenges along the way if Trump's administration wants to rescind some of these national monuments. But Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke told reporters the order requires him to review about 30 national monuments created over the past 2 decades and recommend which designation should be lifted or altered.
So when I first read the headline, I thought this was in reference to the story we've been covering about how they're taking down some of the Civil War monuments from across the South. I was like, Trump's gonna do something good?
No.
Wow, that's amazing. And of course, no, the exact opposite. So again, this is one where he should be a little bit careful. So come and see how this turns out politically. So they wanted to sell off public lands before, and they made this bold proposal to sell off huge stretches of public land. And you know who got really, really pissed? Conservative voters in places like Utah and Montana.
That's right.
And there was a revolt. And they're like, we hunt in those lands, we fish in those lands. That's public land, that's my land, okay? And Trump was like, well, I'm gonna hand it over to my rich friends who donated to me. They're like, no, you're not. And then it was such a revolt that even Chaffetz, who is a deeply right-wing congressman from Utah, was like, did I say I was gonna give away all of your land so we could all make more money and my donors can get rich? I meant I'm a hunter. When he retracted it, he did it with a picture of himself in a goofy camouflage outfit and a rifle. Like, oh, don't worry, I'm a hunter too. Okay, so whether you're a liberal or a conservative, let them hear your roar. Because what they're gonna do is they're gonna try to take away some of the most precious land in America and drill, baby, drill. So if you're in favor of drilling and you don't care about, you don't believe in climate change, etc., you do it on land that's already given for that purpose, that is already doing it. I don't agree with that, but I understand it. And there's plenty of places to drill without drilling on top of the most precious public lands that we have in America, right? And by the way, are we gonna get our fair share since it's our land? You know we're not. What did you think was gonna happen when Trump put the CEO of ExxonMobil as our Secretary of State? Now, Secretary of State not as relevant internally, obviously, but it's this message that no, we're gonna give the energy companies everything they want, and if they gotta take your monuments to do it, they'll do it.
Right. And look, just to show you how much money talks and plays a role in the decisions that are being made right now in regard to these national monuments and our environment, Reuters had mentioned that Utah Governor Gary Herbert and Senators Mike Lee and Orrin Hatch, all Republicans, stood beside Trump as he signed the order. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because if you look into the major funders for the senators, Mike Lee and Orrin Hatch, it's the real estate industry and also oil and gas. So from 2011 to 2016 for Senator Orrin Hatch, his 6th biggest donor was the real estate industry. They spent about $445,500 on him, and also the oil and gas company $441,250 on him.
Seems like they got themselves a good prostitute.
No, but here's the amazing thing though. The real estate industry is the 6th largest, donors for Orrin Hatch. They gave him almost $500,000. 6th largest donor. I mean, think about all the other donors that have given more, right? And so for Orrin Hatch, it's mostly those in the financial industry and things like that. But it's they're not looking out for us. They're not looking out for our well-being or public lands or our safety or the environment. They don't care about any of that stuff, okay? Like Orrin Hatch, like he looks like he's the crypt keeper. He's been in office since the freaking 70s, right? He doesn't care about the environment. He's looking to make money, make it rain on them hoes and then get out of there. That's all he cares about. We need to get money out of politics. This is insane.
By the way, his son's a lobbyist. They profit off of that as well. It just keeps getting more and more money for the Hatch family. And but the establishment media tells us, no, these are honorable gentlemen. $500,000 wouldn't affect them at all. Huge salaries for their family members wouldn't affect them at all. How dare you besmirch their reputation, you radicals. Yes, I am here to say that I agree with 93% of Americans that these guys work for their donors and not for us, the voters. That is super obvious. And by the way, for those donors, it is a super good investment. You give $500,000 to guys like Orrin Hatch and you spread that money around a little bit, and then they give you contracts and the ability to drill on land. That's going to make you millions, maybe billions of dollars. That's a great return on investment. We're the suckers for allowing this dirty, corrupt system to exist in the first place. Wolf-pack.com. Get the money out of politics right now, not later, right now. One last thing, to be fair to prostitutes across the country, at least they sell something they have. Orrin Hatch sells something you have. We're not the Young Turks, you're the Young Turks. You power this show. Together we built something amazing. We've broken stories like the Donna Brazil story the mainstream media wouldn't break. We built the studio, we built this network. It's now #1, all thanks to you guys. Let's come build it even bigger and stronger. TYTnetwork.com/join.